All right, it says we're live. Okay.
Woo!
Welcome, everybody. I am so beyond excited for this. So first of all, just introducing myself, I'm Sabrina Maurice. I'm living down here in New Zealand, dual citizen, the American Kiwi. Woo, woo. So kia ora. And welcome to this Facebook Live series of Empowered Women, Empowering Women. And right now we have the amazing opportunity of having Miss Alyssa. I always say Alyssa, and I apologize, Alyssa Camacho here with us. Powerful woman that seriously, you're changing lives for generations to come with what you're doing. And I remember meeting you, it's been years now, before you were doing basically this empire that you've built. So I'm going to pass it over to you that you can share a little bit about your background, and then we'll just go back and forth. So yeah, take it away.
Beautiful, beautiful. Hi guys, I'm Alyssa, and it's spelled like Alyssa, so it's so confusing when you see people's names on Facebook a lot more than you like say it in person, because you see the conversation on Messenger. Anyways, so I love it. Yeah, so let's dive in. Let's see, where did I come from? Well, first, I guess I should tell you where I'm at. So Female Entrepreneur Empire is my baby. Anybody who owns a business knows what that is like. It's like your second, third baby. And so we do like a lot of cool stuff. We do like events for female entrepreneurs. Now we do events for female and male entrepreneurs, which I'm so pumped about. Our next event, we're breaking like arrows on the throat and just like so many cool, intense things. Yeah, it's gonna be so good. And so that's what we do. We have like a lot of online courses, but for me, I guess the easiest way to explain it is it's all about making money, marketing, and mindset. And we do those three things all day long, every day with our customers. So that's where I am now. As far as where did I start? Guys, like I was the corporate like 20-year-old, okay? Like I always tell everybody, I feel like I was born in the wrong time because I think I was supposed to be in my 40s and my 90s, in the 90s. I belong in the boardrooms. You know what I mean? The meetings, the stuff like blazers, like that's where I belong. You know, like I said, it's a man's world is what people always say, but I never believed that. Thank goodness I had parents that raised me to totally be okay wherever I was. And that's why I'm so happy that we're doing this on International Women's Day, because so many women struggle with that belief. And I will honestly say one of the reasons I am where I am is because I never had the belief that I was better or worse than because I was a female or a male. So random. But yeah, I come from a corporate background. I was a district manager for multiple companies, did all the fun stuff like the meetings, the employees, the hiring, hundreds of people. Thought it was fun, but I just decided that I want to do what I wanted to do. Who doesn't want to do what they want to do? Which was like empower women and totally just dive into this like compassionate, loving, graceful space versus this like corporate, like, you know what I mean?
Yes, I love it.
Yeah.
And I always say, you know, you grow where you're planted. So you were planted in this specific time for a reason, because we need basically your badassery right now. Essentially, because isn't this time in history such a fascinating and kind of a crazy time to be alive? Because it's like, if you are not having some sort of side stream of income, would you agree that you're not setting yourself up for success?
500 million%, yes.
Man or woman, if you do not have your side hustle, which then becomes your main drive and force, it's like you're setting yourself up for not having, essentially being economic proof. Like you're established, I feel like, in a way that like this economy can go like this all day long, and you're like, what happening? Oh, I'm good. Like,
right? What happened during COVID? Everybody was freaking out, and I was like, well, technically, if millionaires lost half their money, that'd be $500,000. So there's still room for me to grow. There's somebody making more money than me. I guess I can figure it out. Like that's literally my mindset, was like, it's not going to affect us, and it didn't. We do events for a living, you guys, and COVID didn't affect us.
Yes, like, I love it. I love it. This is huge, because yeah, if you're doing events for a living and you've set yourself up, it's like, wait a minute, how do we like overcome this? And that's the point, is you look into life for the possibilities and not the struggles. It's like, okay, we get it. Everything's like happening around us, but I'm still living my best life. And then the cool thing about you is you inspire and support other people in living their best lives and making sure that they are essentially recession proof. So I want to jump into, like, you have 3 tips for women, and guess what, guys, you get the bonus of having this powerful woman pour into you as well, in how to just, what have you got? I just want to pass it back over to you. What are your top 3 tips?
Yeah. So my first one, you guys, this is funny. People always ask me for my tips and they think I'm going to go business with it. But my first, you guys, is literally be the kind of person who whatever you want, right? Like, so be the kind of person who makes multiple six figures every year. Be the kind of person who has an amazing, sexy relationship. Be the kind of person that runs an amazing, awesome, inspiring business. Like, I think so many times people wish that they're waiting for the world to like show up for them. But the reality is, if you're the kind of person who the world shows up for, the world shows up for you. And so so this is all about doing the inner work, which is funny because people are like, oh yeah, I'll buy that house when I make that much money. Well, if you just make that much money, then you can buy that house. Well, okay, but when I make that much money, I'll be the kind of person who works out every single day. And the reality is, when you work out every single day, then you'll be the kind of person who's clear enough to make the money. And so people during COVID stopped doing the work. It was interesting. Like, everybody kind of freaked out. I know we're not talking COVID here, but hey guys, real life, right? Like this happened and everybody freaked out. They stopped working. They let the energy of the world, whatever side you're on, stress them out, right? Either you're defending your freedoms and you're mad, or you're like, mad, you're trying to defend freedoms and you don't agree with it. And so either way, everybody was stressed. And the first thing I did was I said, what are we going to do to make the energy in our home untouchable? Like, I'm talking like crystals, mindset, working out. Like, we only surround ourselves with positive people. Like, we did the work in 2020 to maintain what was easy before, right? And so every time I want to level up, my first thought is, who do I need to become to have those things? Because millionaires and homeless people are very different in their action steps. Not that it's bad, right, or wrong, or good. It's just they're different in their action steps. It's because they're the kind of person who makes $1 million. So what are they doing? Daily habits.
Okay. I mean, you literally just poured like pure gold. I hope everybody like wrote down as many notes. So I did. What are you doing? I love that you said, what are we going to do to make our home untouchable? I can say for a fact that like, I was on one of the sides at the very beginning because I got a lot of downloads, a lot of things that a lot of people also received, right? And at the very beginning, I was like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And that was my trauma brain. And I was like, okay, wait, your trauma brain is in mode. I love you, trauma brain. You know, you're just doing your job. And what is it that we get to do? So my source of shifting is I go back to God. I go back to my source and I'm like, all right, so what is it you want me to do with all this information you've given me and shown me? And it was like, this is what your next step is. And so I love that you're, and it's about managing our frequency, our energy, our state of being and existing. And it's like, it doesn't matter what you're doing, it's the way you're doing it. And that affects everything. So you also have done the 75 hard. You've been doing that.
I'm doing it for the third time right now.
You're amazing. You're such an inspiration. So is it 3 times because you've had to restart, or is it 3 times because like you just have chosen in 3 times?
Yeah, so the first time I did it, I failed on day 56. So that was really discouraging. And it wasn't even on purpose. It was like an accident. So that sucked. But then I redid it and I did it. I did all the phases. And then the second time I did it, I just knew that I was like, so the first time it was about me. It was like, can I prove to the world that I can do something? It was about me doing what I wanted to do, which was, I'm a rebel. So that means if somebody else is unwilling to do something, I'm definitely going to try it. So that's who does 75 hard, by the way, the people who are like, let me show you that it's possible. So I did it then. The second time I did it was because we had events coming up and I was just like, I need to get my mindset clear. The first time, by the end of it, I was so clear. So I just started, so the second time I just did it for that. And the third time I actually wasn't going to do it, but everybody in my household. So my older brother lives with us now. Omar's older brother lives with us. And so now we have me and my hubby and then these 2 guys with us. And everybody in my household is so personal development driven. It's ridiculous. And so they were all doing it. And I was like, I'm not going to do it. And then I was like, it'll be so easy. Like, everybody's doing it. Let's do our workouts together. And so it's kind of like a household fun community thing that we're doing now. So,
So what day are you on?
Good question. Like 35, maybe somewhere in there. I don't keep track of the days, and I didn't even at the very beginning. There's an app that does it. I don't track it because otherwise I get too like in my head about counting how much longer I have.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I applaud you because for those of you who don't know, and correct me if I'm wrong, like you have the reading every day, at least for 30 minutes. You have 2 outside workouts that you do for 45 minutes, I believe.
So you read 10 pages a day of personal development type stuff. And then you do 1 inside workout and 1 outside workout. And I guess the inside one doesn't have to be inside. You just do 2 45-minute workouts. 1 has to be outside. And we live in Utah and it's not snowing right now, but it was snowing a few weeks ago. I love snow workouts though, you guys. They're like the best.
Oh,
So yeah,
that's so
so you
cool.
do that. Let's see, you take a progress picture every day. You drink a gallon of water every day.
Wow.
This is the hardest part for me for a long time. You can't drink alcohol, which I don't drink a lot anyway, so it doesn't really
Yeah.
matter, but you can't drink alcohol. And then you have to stick to a diet. So even if you break the diet by one bite, you're done and you have to restart all 75 days over. So it's pretty intense on the
You're
food. Yeah.
so inspired. So with the diet portion, because I'm not, for people who struggle with even that word, right? Like I'm like, meh, I'm not really into diets. I'm into lifestyle shifting. So I would be like, no sugar. So if I even had one bite of some sort of processed sugar, that would reset it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And you set your own rules. Most of I tell people,
Yeah.
like, because there are a lot of people who want to do it but don't want to do the hardcore diet.
Yeah.
And I was just told, like, technically, I'm doing like keto with only positive carbs, meaning like healthy, like bananas and that kind of stuff. So it's not even really keto because keto's not supposed to have any carbs. It's just basically eating healthy. So it's like meat and fruits and vegetables.
Yeah. I mean, which is what we should be eating anyway. To get all our nutrition in. Okay, so that was tip number 1. Let's go through this number 2 let's tie it into with the 75 hard. Like, how have you been able to do this successfully and not give up? Because 75 days, like in the spectrum of all time, is nothing. But while you're going through it, it's like, oh my gosh, like I have like 40 more days. Like, how am I going to do this? What's your mindset? Because I believe it's mostly mindset.
Yeah, for sure. So there's different things that motivate people. I've seen people fail because they were doing it for the wrong reasons. So you have to really ask yourself, like, what is the purpose? I'm business driven, meaning if I know something is going to make my business more successful, then I will do it. So that's easy for me. Some people are not that way, right? And so you have to really ask yourself, why am I doing this? And I think for me, it's interesting. I went to the gym a few years ago. I was speaking at an event, and the guy that was the AV was a freaking workout beast. So he took me and my hubby to the gym the next day, day 2 of the event, and we worked out with him. And I was so sore the next day. I literally couldn't stand up. Like, I was supposed to be speaking on stage, and my calves were so swollen that my pants were so tight. Like, they had to like hold me up to like get me on stage so I could like speak. It was horrible. But I'll never forget what I learned. And that was this. He didn't tell me, you're going to do 10 of these. You're going to do 30 of these. He just said, hey, give me 1 more. Give me 3 more. Give me 1 more. Give me 2 more. And so it was about being the best version of me. And that's why I did so hard, because it was like, everybody can do 1 more day of something. Everybody can do 1 more hour of something. And so on those days that I do want to break, it's like, well, let's just see if we can make it till tomorrow. Let's just see, like, what am I made of? And that's a lot less pressure than like 75 days or I'm going to fail. You know?
Yes. And that's the other thing that I was going to say is, like, when you're looking at anything, you don't look at the whole elephant and go, oh my gosh, how am I going to eat the whole elephant? It's like a bite at a time. And who the heck is eating elephants anyway? Who came up with this analogy? It's terrible. But the point is, it makes sense. You don't look at the whole elephant and go, holy crap, how am I going to eat it? It's like, all I know is, so for example, when we migrated over here to New Zealand, I took it a step at a time. All I knew is we were leaving. And then all of a sudden, you guys, the situation with the world hit. And I was like, I kid you not, I was getting download from God going, you've got to leave now or you're never leaving. And I was like, oh, like, you mean now? And he's like, yes, now. And it was like, well, how am I going to pack up a family of 9? And, our brain tries to keep us safe and comfortable. Right. And so the step for me has been get out of my own way and go, okay, all I know is I'm going for this and I'm doing it. So I love that it was just a step at a time. It was a room at a time. I'm going to work on this room and then I'll work on this one. And that's how you do anything. And it's 75 hard. So you really are inspiring me to like really consider the 75 hard.
A lot of people in personal development don't like the word hard because we don't want to create it, right? So like 75 is easy. Like,
okay. All right, I can do 75 easy. I can get behind 75 easy. All right. So what's your third tip? Your third tip for obviously women, but I'm feeling the draw to also support men, because I'm finding, I don't know if you're finding this, but a lot of in our TV programs and things like that right now, there's a lot of women's empowerment, but it comes off as actually discrediting the male. And that actually really rubs me wrong. Like, it's completely not how we operate. We are a masculine and feminine balance, and there's honor in both, right? There's so much strength in being a man and a woman. And so, yes, please pour into us more.
Yes. of course. And I actually love this. So we have an entire company built around women, right? Female Entrepreneur Empire. And I love it because our main purpose has been to create a safe space for women to work through their stuff. It's not really ever about the men in their life. It's about just putting them in a room where they might not have the trigger that they've had with men in the past, right? And honestly, most women have more triggers with women than they do men. And so it's funny to watch them have to break that down as well. And so I agree with you 100%. And I feel like right now you're right. Men are essentially, I don't want to say being emasculated, but like, hey, look, women are trying to do it all. We're like, hey, we're going to be masculine and feminine. Who needs men? And I don't know about you guys, but if somebody told me they didn't need me, I wouldn't want to be in their life and I would just shut down. And so I definitely agree. I feel like there's something so beautiful about masculine energy and something so beautiful about feminine energy. And when those two can work together, it's beautiful, which is why we obviously our next event has completely shifted, because that call from God was like, we need this space for men and women now. We've done a good job with women. Now we've got to support everyone. And so that's beautiful. My tip for them would be this. I think we get in our heads a lot. We create a lot of stories. Competition is probably the best way to put it, but also even with our spouses, right? Like men or women, doesn't really matter. We don't do things that we want to do. We do things that other people want us to do. So for me, if I was going to put this into a tip, it would be when you make decisions in your life, big decisions, small decision, business decisions, right? And you're saying, hey, I really feel called towards this thing. And then you ask yourself, what would my wife think about that? What would my husband think about that? What would my business partner think about that? And you start to get in your head, you don't make the right decision. What would my competitor think about that, right? And you make the wrong decision. So for me, it's about essentially cutting cords with everybody else. And so I always ask myself in business, like, if I didn't have a husband who was going to be stressed about this thing that we're going to go do, because you know me, I'm always doing the next big thing, and he's like had to really learn to ride with me. And so if I didn't have a husband who was stressed, if I didn't have customers who were going to get mad, if I didn't have competitors who were doing XYZ, would I still make the decision I'm about to make? And if the answer is yes, then I move with it. And if the answer is no, then I ask myself, why am I doing this? Is it because my competitors are doing it? Is it because, like, once again, I'm worried that my spouse is going to get mad, so I'm going to downplay myself, right? And so I just always ask myself, if others were not around and their opinion or what my decision wasn't going to affect my relationship with them at all, what would I do? And that's the utmost way that I found to honor myself, is just putting myself in that scenario. If it didn't affect anybody else, what would I do?
It works. It's really interesting because it's like you get out of your head, but the main thing you're doing is a mindset thing. It's like you're in your head, but you're out of your head. It's a paradox. That's what it is. So thank you so much. Cutting cords. And then would I still do this? Like if nobody else was involved, and yeah, interesting. Yeah, I just had something.
I made a lot of wrong decisions. That's how I came up with this one. I kept being like, oh my gosh, I'm stressed my business partner is going to get mad, or oh my gosh, I'm stressed my husband's not going to be happy, or like, oh, my competitors are going to think I'm just doing it to compete against them, or if I don't do it, my competitors are going to win. And so then I would do the wrong things, right? Trying to please or prove everybody else right or wrong.
Okay. So then I have a question for those people who, like, you know, you have a family and you do have kids and a husband and everything, and who are like, well, yeah, but I'm good making decisions, and say, but how is this worded? Like it does affect them. Like, how do you move forward in that decision, knowing that it's going to affect them with that choice that you're making?
So I think for me, it's about trust in self. So I would never plan a huge event and then expect my husband to figure it out. And so people that own businesses oftentimes look to their spouse for business advice. They look like I always tell like the women around me, like, look, your husband's not a marketing expert. So stop trying to take his marketing advice and trust yourself. You don't need your husband to invest in you, and husbands, you don't need your wives to agree with you. Like when you believe in you. So if I go to Omar and I say, babe, I have this crazy big idea and I'm all in on it. I'm willing to make it work. Meaning I'm not going to bankrupt us for it. I'm not going to blame, my mentor for it. I'm going to take a full accountability, and I'm going to move. Now I can make that choice because my husband doesn't have to stress about figuring my life out. Most relationships don't trust themselves. And so they do have to stress about that. And that's why I'm always like, stop asking your spouse to invest in you more than you're investing in you. You want them to believe in you, but then you're like, I'm freaking out. And of course they're going to freak out and be scared for you. Amen. But if you believe in you, your spouse is going to tell you yes every time.
100%. It's the confidence that you exude is the confidence that they'll be able to borrow. basically. Like, and the fear that you're exuding is also the fear that they're going to start exuding. And so it's like being really intentional with that. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Alyssa. I've like taken notes. I love everything that you've poured into us. And I want to know, for everybody watching, like, how can they get in touch with you, be a part of what, the workshops that you've got coming, the events, like share right now. And then in the links, in the comments, I would love for you to drop the links too.
Yeah, perfect. I totally can. So follow me on Facebook. Am I tagged in this? I don't know if I am.
I did, yes. And I'll make sure that you are.
So I use my Facebook and TikTok the most. So Facebook's the best for business. So hang out there if you want to like get all the mindset goodiness. Our next event, for those of you who live in Utah or can be in Utah on the 19th and 20th of this month, our next event is a transformational business conference. So we are doing like marketing and sales and mindset, right? So we're not just doing the marketing and sales like normal. We are diving hardcore into our beliefs and what is stopping us from going to that next level. So yeah, you can always hit me up for that and I can get you guys tickets. Also, I feel like for those of you who are not in Utah or those of you who are in Utah but just want it, we do have a 10-day money mindset challenge. And
oh my gosh, sorry to cut you off. I did this mindset thing last year and it is bomb.com. It changed like so much for me. You don't even understand. I don't even think you know this. Like it literally, if you have not done their 10-day money mindset challenge, I'm going to actually redo it. I didn't even know it was going again. So I need in and everybody else, please jump in.
It's beautiful. So we have it on our member site. So we're not doing it as a group anymore. We don't do it as a group, but you just do it. So you can go and do it whenever you want. And you guys, I think it's so good. This is so weird, but I think it's so good that I literally take it myself. Like whenever I feel that like, oh, that doubt starts to creep in. Can we really make that much money? What's the next level? I literally just grab a few of my friends and we get in a Facebook group and we just do the challenge together. And that's it. And like every single time I come out so excited that I did my own stuff because it's good. It's that good. I really do it. So anyways, if you want that, just message me on Facebook, your email address, and I will add you, no cost, to our member site so that you can have access to that. So.
Oh my gosh, it's so cool. All right. I will obviously be doing that. And then can you explain the Inner Goddess Empire? I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know that we touched on anything with that.
Yeah, so Inner Goddess Empire, IGE for short, is my mastermind. So that's our mastermind here in Utah. We do have girls all over the country that, come and play and do the thing. So let's join online. But yeah, essentially it's the most badass mastermind you've ever seen in your life. There's so much to explain that like it would take me like a good 10 minutes to explain it. But in short, it's like a hybrid between like a mastermind networking community and actual like business practicality, along with like accountability and personalized feedback. Yeah, it's crazy.
And yeah, there's a cost with that. So with that, you guys reach out to Alyssa and see if this is calling to you. I am a firm believer, like once you just decide something is for you, everything lines up to work out. So if you're like, oh crap, I don't know if that I can afford it, that's a lie. You can. The moment you just decide that it's what you want and you're going to be in, everything will come together and work in your favor. True or true? Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else that you want to add before we jump off?
I would just love to tell everybody, like, look, you do what you think you're going to do. So if you think you're going to stay small, you're going to stay small. If you think you're going to win big, you're going to win big. So whatever you're thinking right now in this moment, your tomorrow or your year is going to look like, that is the facts. So do the work to change the thoughts that you have so that you can literally have the life that you want. I could not have imagined 5 years ago being where I'm at today in our business, but also I worked really hard to make sure that I believed that it was possible for me and so that it would happen. And so wherever you're at, whether it's you're successful in whatever that looks like for you, or you're struggling today, tomorrow, the next day, right? Just change the way you think about your future. It'll change it.
I love it. Thank you so much. And you guys put a like some sort of emoji, heart emoji in the comments for Alyssa and her time here and everything. And then I'd love if you guys would drop in your greatest takeaway from this, because there were some really amazing gems in it. And love you all, and I'll catch you on the other side.
Bye.
All right, cool. Oh, I pressed stop.